Hi, and welcome to another Happy Panda Toys review video.
My name is Rich.
My name is Eleni.
And I'm Ben. So today we are going to be introducing the
Night King by Brandt Peters.
Hat not attached.
Yes.
So whenever we do these review videos, we break it down into a couple different categories, and here to explain them along the way is going to be...
It's me.
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah.
What's the first category?
First category is the concept. So the idea behind the toy, the Night King, basically the first men of Westeros invaded the children of the forest, and they captured...
Wrong Night King.
Sorry.
That's a different Night King.
Oh.
This is the Brandt Peters Night King, not the Game of Thrones Night King.
This is a bat with a hat in pajamas by Brandt Peters. Overall, yeah. You want to start it off?
Sure. Okay. So as a concept, it's very Brandt Peters. I like it. I'm into it. I give it a 4.
Yeah, it's a bat. He's a little vampire-y type bat, I'm assuming. He's got some fangs. I like the top hat. It's definitely of his style, especially with the eyes. I'll give it a 4. I like it.
Alright, cool. I'm going to give this one a 5. I really like it. We have something new from Brandt Peters that's not just another rehash of something he's already done, yet it's reminiscent of his style and his other works. It's
like the Skelf.
It's another piece in the Stingy Jack world. It's another piece in the Skelf territory. I like this. I love bats, so right up my alley,
Yeah.
And I think it's a great concept.
Cool.
So next is going to be packaging.
Packaging. Pretty much the materials and the design of the packaging. Yeah, there it is.
Alright, so this came in a few different colorways. The one that we have open is the Half Dead edition, which is kind of bluish, and then there's the Candy Corn edition, which is obviously orange, and then Ben brought his San Diego Comic-Con special edition.
Which was the...
This one.
Yeah, this one.
This one that
Monotone
we
or
can't
something
remember
like
the
that.
name.
Actual title to be right here.
Yeah. But all the packaging is the same for all of them.
Cardboard window box, some pretty interesting artwork all around. Immediately, if I saw the artwork, I wouldn't think Brandt Peters, except for maybe this skull in the mountain. Otherwise, again, big ass window.
Where do you see a skull in the mountain?
Right there.
Oh, okay.
I like that it's shrink wrapped for some reason. Keep your box super clean. I'll give it a 3. It does its job. It's packaging.
I agree. Also a 3 for me. There's nothing particularly inventive or exciting about the packaging. It's a box.
The logo's probably the best part.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with a 2 on it. I'm really not super thrilled with the packaging itself. I agree. I do like that they have it in the shrink wrap because, one, you could tell if you're buying it secondhand if it's been opened before, which is kind of a nice
like
thing.
We just did for this particular guy.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun.
But it keeps dust free or whatever. Like that's nice too, I guess, but unnecessary ultimately. The cardboard itself seems a little bit thinner than your standard packaging, which
Super flimsy.
just means it's not going to stand up over time. And yeah, with the exception of that little skull, the art is it's very flat and not reminiscent of his style. And I'm not super thrilled or impressed by it. The window on the front is oddly shaped, and yes, it shows what's inside, but I don't know. I feel like it could have been done better, too.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Category number 3 is the translation. How well we go from concept into actual prototype. Yeah. Ben, you want to start off?
Honestly, I gotta go with a 5 on this one. Like, I feel like again, it translates perfectly. This is very similar to what the original sketch looked like for it. He did a piece for the Monsters and Misfits. Was it Monsters and Misfits 3?
3 in Japan.
In Japan, he did a piece, modified Skelv, and it's very similar to that. I would say it's cleaned up a little bit because you had the time to go through and do the sculpting and the tooling to be able to produce it on a larger scale. So looks like his stuff. It's done very well. It looks like a Skelv, looks like a bat, looks like Stingy Jack. Let's give it a 5.
Wow, really? 5. What do you give it?
I'm going to give it a 4. I like it, but at the same time, yeah, I think you look at the eyes, and that really, to me, screams Brandt Peters. But if you just look at it in terms of like the sculpt, you do see the remnants of the scale of head and the scale of body, like you were saying. The feet are a bit bigger, and you do have, obviously wings instead of hands, and he's got the little butt flap pajamas, so it does have elements of Brandt Peters stuff, but I don't know. I feel like when we looked at like the sketches and stuff, it didn't seem like it was a 100%, from his artwork to what we have in front of us.
Well, the sketch was the way he draws skells is modified eyes. One will be bigger than the other, smaller than the other. I mean,
you could have done that here. You could have,
Yeah.
forced perspective to make one
but-
eye super bigger than the other.
none of the skells have one eye bigger than the other, and I feel like that makes this more reminiscent. I mean, we're allowed to disagree and vary on our opinions, but I think that's where I keep true to. It's just like the sketch, to where you're varying because proportions are different.
I think you're going off of this fits better in the other line of toys that he's done. This is very much of how he translates the toys to a sketch. I'm just saying, in terms of like this one particular piece, I don't think it is you could look at it and be like, oh, I see where certain elements from the sketch made it into this sculpt, but I don't see it as like a 100%. I see it more,
Okay.
I feel like it's a 50-50, like certain elements pulled in and then certain things got changed for toy production.
Okay.
Which is a good thing. That way it gets produced so it doesn't fall over.
All right, I'm going to cut you off.
All right.
So, I agree with you.
A good call.
I agree with you. I feel like there are some elements that got changed for toy production, but all in all, it makes sense that they changed those things, so I give it a 4 as well for translation from the original artwork to this piece we see in front of us.
All right. Well, let's talk execution. How well we went from translation to actually creating this, and the materials, the paint techniques, all of the little things that go into it.
Our
Let's talk
factory
about
quality.
those. Yes.
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to give this a 3. There's something that's bothering me about this like dollop of hair in the middle of his face. It was in the original sketch, but I feel like this is one of those things that didn't make it, that shouldn't have made it from the sketch to the sculpt, because I don't feel like they really captured the tuft of hair look. Like, it just looks like an additional piece that got glued to his forehead, and because it's in the middle of his face, it's really hard for me to not be distracted by it. But there's some other really great features here. I think the colors look great. Same thing on the orange one, but we're taking a specific look at this one. I think the colors look great. I love the butt flap. I love toy butts just in general, and this is a good hidden toy butt. So, but yeah, this bugs me a lot. So I give it a 3.
I think the print padding on these is really good. The eyes are perfect, and with Brandt Peters' work, you want a really good eye. Sometimes with like webbing on like the bat stuff and in the stomach, you'll see an overspray. Those are perfect. The stitches are really good. The button paint application's really good. And then I do like on the bottom of the hat this rubber stopper. We saw this on the Andrew Bell skeleton piece he did, so it kind of, it creates grip, but also it doesn't scuff up the plastic on plastic.
That's a really good feature.
So I do like those things. However, I feel like the seams where the feet meet the body and where the head meet the body makes the head look like it should turn. It does not. I do like the ball jointed wings, so I gotta go with a 4, because I feel like paint, which is usually the harder things, is done really well. Thing on the hat, but some weird seam stuff around the feet and the butt flap for me.
All right. Yeah, I gotta completely agree 100% with you. Giving it a 4, same exact reasons. Those seems semi-unsightly, but paint spot on, looks great. And man, the hat, like, it's the tooling on it's been really well done, but then that little grip pad is something I'd like to see more often from companies who put out toys with accessories, to just put something in there to protect the toy itself in the long run.
Shit's not hard.
Right. Ball joints, I hated them
Really?
originally, because I didn't know they were ball joints. It was super tight to be able to move the wings, and I really just thought they were really poorly jointed in, just regular joints, and I was afraid to move them, and they were kind of like off a little bit. But once we broke that initial seal, I've been playing with it for like the last 20 minutes, and this has always been sitting on my shelf for months, and I look at it all the time, love the piece, but I've never even thought to try to move it because it just looks so fragile and frail. And now I'm a fan of the ball joint. I think it adds just a little bit extra personality to it. You can make it a little bit more your own and your display. So I am sold on it now, but yeah, initially hated it. But 4.
Oh, he's flying now.
So we're moving on to value. Price of this toy is
$58 for either the orange colorway or the half dead colorway. I think this is a fantastic value. I feel like $58 is a great deal, so I'm going to give it a 4 just for the amount of sculpting, the fact that it's Brandt Peters. These are fairly limited. The candy corn edition, which is the orange, is limited to, what did I say, 350?
300?
Yeah,
300 pieces.
300 pieces. And the half dead edition is limited to
350
pieces. So fairly limited. I feel like $58 is a good value for this size, this artist, this type of figure.
Okay.
I'll go with the 4 as well. In terms of height, it is 7 inches. I don't know if the 7 inches is with the hat or not, but I mean, between the hat and the ears is, nitpicking. So with that in mind, $58 is a pretty good deal. They are limited based on colorway, but I guess when you add up all the colorways, it's still like a run of like over 1,000 pieces. So I think it's a good value. I think it's, it's not the steal of the century, but it is definitely a pretty good value at 58.
Cool. Yeah, I gotta agree. It's a 4. Brandt Peters' work generally has a nice hefty price tag attached to it. This is a nice affordable introductory piece. If you don't have any of his other stuff, but you'd like to start collecting, it's a great piece to start with. If you do have his other stuff, this is a great addition to your collection without having to break the bank. Honestly, it could become an impulse buy at that point. If you already look at his stuff, you're just like, oh, look, there's another one, get it. And it's not so much where you have to be like, oh man, should I get this one? Which one's better? Like, just go for it because it's reasonably priced. And so, yeah, I gotta say it's a 4. It's a good value. The height of the figure versus what you'd expect. I feel like Cardboard Spaceship did a good job with this piece and all, and price pointing it at that was another good mark. Good mark from them.
I think it also has like a psychological effect. You're like, oh, it's not $60, it's $58. It's closer to $50. It's got a 5 in it.
It's got a 5 in it.
It's got a 5 in it. It's like $50. So what are our average scores, Ben?
So, Ilani, you averaged this one out at 3.4. Rich, you gave this one an average of a 3.8, and I averaged this one at a 4.
Did you think you were going to score higher?
No, I thought I scored this higher than I was being nitpicky. Because if it came down to it, I'm not sure I would own one.
Yeah, so that's the final question is, would you buy one? And I don't know. Like, I like Brandt Peters. I really like his style. It's, it's very specific and very immediately recognizable. But we don't have a lot of Brandt Peters stuff, and I'm not sure this is the piece that I want to add to, grow that collection. Since I'm not like a super diehard Brandt Peters fan, so I think it might be a no for me.
Yeah, I think I was really more into the Dunny series he did, and when the Skells first started up, then I've kind of cooled on a lot of his stuff lately. Had this come out, like, not in 2016, but in 2013, I would have been all over all the colorways. But
You're in a different place now?
I'm in a different place now, yeah. It's all about Flying Fortress.
As can be witnessed in our Teddy Troop Series 1 2.0 review video.
That was a very long phrase.
Yes, right.
Needless to say, I bought it.
Yeah.
I needed it in my collection. I love it.
I know, but what about any of the other colorways?
You know what? I went back and forth between getting the Comic-Con edition or the blue one. And ultimately the Comic-Con edition won out because just some of the other pieces I have from him meld better with these colors. Even though that color blue is one of my favorite colors to see in toys. So it was a real hard toss-up, but I think I picked well.
Maybe that's what it is. If you collect Brandt Peters stuff, that's the colorway to go with. Try and find the San Diego Comic-Con one. But if you don't have a huge Brandt Peters collection, this on its own is a great toy that could stand on a shelf with a bunch of other stuff.
Well, and the
look
colors
cool.
match well with the 13, actually, in the blue.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this would look good next to the 13 Dunny series.
Or even the Mr. Strange 8-inch Dunny.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, where can you find it?
You can buy it right now at happypandatoys.com.
Wow.
So, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.